Hey folks, it's Amber again with another haul. I have been going through a stack of items that I have been accumulating over the past several months as I have been developing an interest in junk journaling. And I'm really trying to get most of my materials secondhand. I'm not a huge fan of getting materials from like Michael's or Joann's to use in junk journals. I really want these to be mostly secondhand materials with the exception of, you know, glues and things like that, of course. And so this is something I found. We're going to be going through a bunch of stuff that I found in various thrift stores today. And what I'm doing is, as I'm going through all of these items on these videos with you, is I'm then putting them, organizing them into my craft room so that then I can begin the process of crafting some of these journals. I started a while back and I crafted a few, but I was not happy with how they turned out. And I realized that I needed, like, I learned a lot in those processes of making those and kind of learned what my aesthetic is. And so I've been looking for more materials that fit that aesthetic. I love that. So this is something I found at a thrift store, a big old block of scrap paper with multiple pages of the same, which I like because I like to be able to have like some themed colors and repeating patterns within my journals. So a lot of this is stuff that I probably won't use, but for the price that I got it at a thrift store, oh my gosh, my son playing video games. We seem to be on our various media devices at the same times. So that is, look at how big that is. That felt like a really good find. It was fairly inexpensive. And then I found this whole like block or roll of coupons. I see a lot of folks using coupons or tickets, coupons, raffle tickets in their journals. And again, I don't like to buy things from like AliExpress. So I love that I was able to find these for $1.99. And then I found this Webelow Scout book from the Boy Scouts of America. And I love that it has the little boy's name in here, Johnny. He belonged in Webelow Den 1, pack 595. Look how cute that is. I wasn't ever a Girl Scout. My brothers weren't Boy Scouts. I don't know. I mean, of course, it's part of our culture. And so I understand somewhat about it. And a lot of the folks that I know are Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. I wish I could find oh, so this is 1967. So there's just a lot of cool like graphics and images in here that will go along with like the retro style that I love so much. Are you an Aquanaut? This tests the activity and area will tell you. You will enjoy trying them, and if you can't quite meet the requirements now, practice and then practice some more. Do swim 100 feet, half of this with elementary backstroke. Oh, Aquanaut. So great. Oh, wow. Activity badge scoreboards. Oh, they've got their name written in here. Like, I guess that was their, like, scout person, like their scout parent, or I don't know. I know that in Girl Scouts are called den moms. I don't know what they're called to have the adults sign off on the badges that you earn in Boy Scouts. Puppetry. Wow. Okay. Aquanaut scoreboard. I mean, we're really just learning a lot about golf and bowling. Okay, there is a lot I do not know about what it means to be a Boy Scout if it involves golf and bowling. I guess, you know, it's pretty well rounded. So I think that was pretty great find. And then along with it, the Junior Girl Scout Handbook. Look at that. So this is a little more recent. It's from 1972. So this I'm actually very interested in reading because, oh, you know what? Well, this says new wording adopted in 1973, but then this says 1963 with the 19th printing in 1975. As a therapist who works primarily with women, I'm very interested in, I'm a feminist and liberationist, and I'm always very curious about what we picked up in our culture about what women are and who we're supposed to be, and what has been defined generationally as the role of being a woman in our culture, or a girl, or a junior, a junior Girl Scout. So I am curious about reading through some of this and seeing, what it teaches young girls about their role. Because as we know, most of us who are raised female in this culture are raised to be nurturers and carers, and to be more concerned about the needs of others over our own. And at this time, women's liberation was just happening, and it was pretty radical at the time. So I'm curious to see, if I read through some of this, if I'll find some of that messaging in here, or what the Girl Scouts during the 70s were teaching girls about their role. All right. Wonderful ways to prepare fish and seafood. Again, I love old cooking books. I have quite a few cookbooks in my shelves already from, this one's from 1978. So this one's not as old as some of the other ones. Oh, but I remember I liked this. I almost didn't get this, but then I decided to get it because the pages have this really interesting texture. They're fairly brittle. But they all have this cool, border around them that I thought might be useful. So not, the best pages in the world, but probably can be useful for some things if I just want to, maybe some filler pages, maybe to do some collaging on. But I love this border. This is just a notebook with lined paper on it with roses that I thought I might be able to use in some floral or botanical journals as some journaling space. So that was something I picked up. And here is another cookbook. Look at this. I'm so excited about this. This is a binder style that I can probably just use as a book in and of itself. I love it. I might use it to create an ephemera journal for myself, like an ephemera storage situation. I've seen a few other people do that, and I think that's really smart. Or I might use it as my own kind of art journal. I do a lot of painting, and so this might be a nice way to store my own art. But the images throughout all of this are just exactly what I am excited about using. All of these types of graphics, these domestic graphics. I love all these tabs that can be used. I mean, I love this stuff. A formal service in English, and I guess there's a difference. Got things to learn. Definitely have things to learn. I eat my dinner in the kitchen and brought my son his food in his bedroom. So we have things to learn about formal service, dinner service. I always love the picture. Oh, look at that. I always love the pictures of cakes. Yep. The cakes are always so colorful. looks definitely more modern. Maybe somebody had that in their kitchen, had this in their kitchen and we're adding to it. So very excited about this. I love the colors, the blues, the pinks. And so that will be something that I will use, I'm sure, very frequently in my books and journals. And I'm excited about that binder. This is just a box that I picked up, like a storage photo box that was at the thrift store that I'll use to in my arranging and organizing of my storage. I think I need a place for all of my stamps that I've been accruing. Here is some engineering paper that I will use in my journals. Looking for scissors here. As some of the filler pages. And I get excited when I find kind of different types of paper. So I've never seen that before because I am not an engineer. But that looks pretty cool. And it's like a nice light green paper with green print. So I was pretty excited about that. And then I found some more graph paper. So these two papers, you know, alongside each other in a journal, I think will look really nice. And then I found these cling stamps. Let me get this sort of zoom in on those so you can see. I think these are all pretty cute. Felt like that was a pretty good deal. I don't remember if that was the actual price that I paid, but probably something pretty similar. Some brads, gold brads. And then I found, I'm not a huge fan of that card, but I do love a envelope that is has a design on it. I've got some really beautiful a book with a bunch of beautifully drawn vintage birds. So I might make some sort of a bird or botanical journal, and I can use that envelope in it. And the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm very, very excited about. I got to a thrift store when somebody had just shelved all of these Nancy Drew books. How many is there? 10 of them. I bought 10. And they're all in nice condition. I know these are not like necessarily first edition Nancy Drew books. But I read all the Nancy Drew books when I was a kid. I loved them. I devoured them. I remember going to the library as a kid with my mom and checking them out, and my mom only letting me check out a certain amount and always staying up way too late and reading them. This says it's 1968 when these were printed. It is the trade edition and the library edition. I love these. I'm actually probably going to reread them. It'll just bring up, it's very nostalgic for me to see these. I feel like a little kid holding these. I'm very, very excited about these. And did you also, I loved the Boxcar Children books too. And I've never seen Boxcar Children books anywhere. Those turned me on to reading, and Boxcar Children has a similar vibe. So I'm really excited about someday being able to stumble across some Boxcar Children books. So these are the titles that I got. I remember reading, I remember all these titles. I don't remember the stories. This one I definitely remember. I remember the one about an old clock. But I am so thrilled about these books and finding those. I cannot wait to make journals out of those. I will absolutely keep the covers. I will keep the images in those. I have so many ideas about what to do with those. And then This is a very large hardback young reader's Bible. I grew up in the church. I am no longer involved in the church, but I grew up in the church. My dad was a pastor. And I grew up, you know, reading these types of books. This one is from 1970. Well, this says March 1978 presented to, but this is 1971. Second edition of the New Testament, 1971. That's what I'm seeing there. What does this say over here? Oh, yeah, 1971 is the oldest date on here. Study material, 1964. You should know your Bible, 1965. So it looks like it's some material from the 60s, some material from the 70s. So this has kind of more of a personal... I am sort of excited to create some books that have a religious, a Christian children's experience to them. I have some really, really funny books that are written for Christian children that are absolutely bonkers. And like problematic and weird. And so I have friends who I think would really get a kick out of me creating a journal for them with some of the Bible. Oh, look, somebody did some underlining in here about the fruit of the Spirit. Yeah. But I did like the colors in this. And I think some of this could be good filler paper. I didn't notice that somebody had done so much underlining. Wow. Jesus's fame spreads. Oh. Somebody made a little note about Mark 12:30 through 31. So I picked up this because this has some personal history for me, and not necessarily this book in particular, but just my whole young adulthood, my whole childhood, my adulthood is filled with materials and experiences and the language and the culture of the Christian evangelical fundamentalist church. I've done a lot of work to unpack what that did to me and how that was harmful to me. And so in some ways it's kind of nice to go back and use the materials from that culture in a creative way to continue to do my healing process around some of that. So that's it for this haul. I'll be back to, I think I have maybe 2 more videos until all of my materials are, I've gone through all of them and put them away and can start creating. That's just how I'm deciding to do this process. It's helping me give me ideas already. I didn't even know, I've bought so many things and done so many trips to thrift stores and estate sales that I've kind of forgotten what I've purchased. So this has been a helpful, this has been helpful for me to go through all the things and figure out what I have so I can start creating. Okay, until next time.